Thanks for tuning in again, everybody. We're back with your favorite podcast, Luka's Tigers and Bronze. Oh my.
What's up, Luka Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Luka's Tigers and Bronze. Oh my. Jamming out to Eminem this morning, the ringer. Fucking
Nice.
love Eminem. Love Eminem.
I wonder why. Why do you think that is? Are you a renegade? Never
like
been
that song a
afraid
lot.
to say what's on your mind at any given time of day. Is that you? Does that speak to you?
It does.
Yeah. All right. Well, cool. I like it. I mean, I did not do it much justice, but that was always one of my favorite Eminem songs. A little underappreciated. It doesn't get a lot of radio time.
With Jay-Z, right?
Yeah, he
fucking fire.
he murdered Jay-Z on that. But I don't want to steal that line either because I'm pretty sure that's what Nas said. I'm pretty sure Nas said Eminem killed him on his own stuff. So, but in any event, it's a lot of fun. Why are we talking rappers when it's sports day here? We got. I don't know about you, but I'm happy today because LeBron lost last night. Is that horrible to say?
No, what do you think of the series from like an outsider standpoint? What are you seeing there?
So I think, if I were to say what's going on in the series, I think, hey, bud, what do you think's going to happen in the Nuggets-Lakers series? You still calling Lakers in 6?
Yeah.
He still says Lakers in 6. That's the expert there. He still says Lakers in 6. But if I were to make a joke about the series, I told Lameme James, who we had on. If you haven't listened to that episode yet, go back and listen a couple days ago. It's a great episode. That guy's it's awesome, the content that he puts out. But I told him this morning, I'm like, I'm surprised you didn't already have a meme up of the Nuggets in a huddle with Jamal Murray talking to him and saying, hey, guys, all we have to do now is lose game 5 and we have them right where we want them, because it seems like the Nuggets they don't really kick it in until they're down 3-1, so I mean,
They could have been up. They were 1 second away from being up 2-1. That's what a lot of people are saying.
They outplayed them in game 2, yes. But listen, once the Lakers are up 2-0, you've been talking about this the whole time, kind of like cruise control. I in the playoffs, you'd rather just dispatch a team quickly. But it looks like that Heat Celtics series is going to go long. They had this break in there, which is weird. I wouldn't put it past LeBron to just get in the locker room and say, all right, guys, just rest. Nobody get hurt. Take it easy. We'll give him one tonight. Just everybody. It's just like he rests for the first 3 quarters of the game. It's almost like, all right, they gave one away because they know they have it in hand. They know they can beat this team whenever they want. That wouldn't surprise me either. I mean, it would because professional athletes shouldn't do that stuff, but it wouldn't,
He's different. LeBron's always been different. And if you remember early in his career, what was the narrative? Do you remember? It was this guy sweeps.
It was this guy will never be as good as Darko Milicic. Early in the career.
This guy sweeps everybody in the early rounds and then loses in the finals.
Right.
You remember that, right? He used to crush the Raptors, sweep them year after year after year. Well, isn't insanity doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result?
Yep.
There might be some truth in his body holding up for the finals. He goes at 60, 70% throughout the playoffs, and then he will turn it on in the finals. That's a plausible scenario.
I guess. Listen,
I'm not a LeBron homer. I'm not a what do they call him? Bronsexual? That's not me. I don't like LeBron. But I'm just telling you what I see.
It's amazing. Well, listen, I'm just happy to see that it's a series, because you never know what the Nuggets. Everybody was expecting Clippers, Lakers, Clippers, Lakers. That was the big one. And they got Lakers Nuggets instead. So it's nice to see the Lakers, actually maybe be pushed. It'd be nice to see the Nuggets, play pretty well. So, we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't think the Nuggets will win in the series, but it wouldn't surprise me if they did. I mean, is that crazy to say now?
No, I think you're not the only one thinking that. I'm thinking that too. Well, why not? But I guess we'll see. That's why they play the games. What's your play of the day today, bro?
So I have a bunch of plays today, but you don't want to recap any sports or anything like that. They're coming out with ESPN report. Remember we talked about Tyrod Taylor and the Chargers? They're saying that a doctor, like a team doctor, punctured his lung. That it's like medical malpractice was why he was out, which is crazy. I mean, it's just amazingly crazy stories that go on in the world of sports. It's nice to get your series back on tonight. You got to be happy, right? You getting your Heat and Celtics back on. A lot of teams clinching the playoffs. This format is a little bit weird, but there's going to be a lot of teams that haven't been in the playoffs. You know, the Phillies and the Reds. They're two of the teams. The White Sox. A couple of these teams, they've had 8 or 9 year playoff droughts, and they're now clinching spots in the playoffs, which is really cool because those fan bases deserve that. So, say what you want about the format of baseball and the playoffs and the short season, they are going to give an opportunity to some fan bases to see playoff baseball that haven't seen it in a long time. And just a quick look ahead, and we'll do maybe over the weekend or something like that, or as we get closer, kind of like a baseball playoff preview. But the way they set it up, I don't love it for long term. A team like the Dodgers that played this whole time with such a great record and get nothing for it, no real home field advantage, no nothing, and have to have a 3-game series to start off the week next week, where anything can happen in baseball. They can't be happy about the format, but you're going to have the closest thing to the craziest, sports event, which is that March Madness event, where you get to see day 1, day 2, where just furious baseball, a game starts, a game ends, a game starts, a game ends. We're going to have that March Madness feel for baseball this coming week. I think Tuesday, Wednesday. So many games. They're not going to be able to televise all of them. They'll probably try. There'll probably be some overlap between them, but it's going to be really, really fun. A couple of days you might want to take off from work. That Wednesday looks like a nice day to stay home and watch some baseball. So we got all that interesting stuff going on. My plays, I actually have a couple of them, and they're all kind of in the same ilk. They're all baseball plays, right? So two of them are guys who are going to be playoff bound, and their cards have kind of dropped a little bit from peaks that they saw, and one of them is not. So I'm bringing baseball plays. Why? Because everybody's talking about football now. You've seen this trend over the last couple of picks from us. We want you to start thinking with a little bit of investment savvy, right? We're going to start to be a little safer. You play a little smarter with your plays, a little bit where you're putting your money. Because if you go dump your money into Football Mosaic now, everybody's there, and you're buying it most likely at a peak. And it's more of a gambling. And we're trying not to bring you gambling. We're trying to bring you smart plays, smart places to put your money. So my 3 picks, I have not picked Fernando Tatis in a while, and he's been cold, although I think he has now look, the kid still might win the MVP, but I think he has 11 steals now. He stole on the base last night, got another big hit last night. His team they clinched the playoff spot. They only have 5 more games. Freddie Freeman's playing great. Mookie Betts is playing great. Tatis had a great season, and he's an infielder. He's a shortstop with only, I think, 2 errors all year, which is amazing because a lot of the stuff that came into it is Tatis going to be able to stay an infielder? They have to move to the outfield and lose value. He's 21 years old. No one has compiled as much WAR at that age in baseball except for Mike Trout. He's exciting. He's fun to watch. He's a guy whose rookie cards will continue to go up over time, and they've come down. Remember, we gave a play on his 2019 Topps number 410 raw when it was 20 or less than 20. The card jumped up to $40, $45, $50. I see him again around the $30 range, and I like it. I like his PSA 10. I like the raw card because they're in the playoffs, and they're going to give the Dodgers and everybody else out there a run for it. I see maybe a Braves, Padres, championship series. We'll get to a preview, but this is a guy whose cards have come back to earth. He still might win the MVP and is going to be 21 years old and potentially go on the kind of playoff run that Juan Soto went on last year, and you saw what happened to his cards. So it's that's one play for he's just down right now, and I don't think there's any reason whether he's down. He's going to have the playoffs, and then the card's going to be an amazing investment for many, many years to come. The same type of thought process goes to Mookie Betts update. That was a card that exploded because of social influencers early on in the year. We were talking about $700. It is literally available right now for half of what it was at its peak. You can buy him in the threes. And if Tatis doesn't win the MVP and it's not Freeman, it's Betts. So now you're talking about cards of 2 of the 3 favorites for the National League MVP. I think, don't hold me to this. I can research it. And guys, if you want to fact check me, you can. But I think Frank Robinson might have won the MVP in both leagues. He might have been the last player to do it. If Betts wins the MVP of the National League, he'd be first player since Frank Robinson to win the MVP in both leagues, which is a pretty crazy accomplishment. I mean, there's nothing bad to say about Betts' talent level. And the Dodgers have the best record in baseball. So even if he doesn't win the MVP, again, another team that's probably going to have a lot of televised games, a lot of nationally televised games, and some, deep playoff run for the Dodgers. So I like bets that update card in the threes when people were buying it for $500, $600, $700 this season, right before he signed his big deal. And the third play is also a baseball play, and this is a little bit of a different one. This is what I want you to look at now, but I want you to look at when the season ends. It's Christian Yelich. We brought you guys this. Andrew might have brought it to you earlier on, months ago. It was just somebody that I was looking at for this is his 2013 update card. In PSA 10, I think you can get it now in the 160s range, which is so cheap. He did not have a great year, but if you look across the board in baseball, so many guys with back of their baseball cards are steady, constant top players in the league, just didn't have this format. I mean, basically, baseball players will tell you that, they start in April, they start to heat up in May, and around June, that's when they really start to hit their groove, and they play from June to October. Well, these guys are playing till October, but they started in June. They started in July. They would just now be hitting their stride, some of these guys, and starting to warm up and bring their average up and hit their totals. I think Yelich, who had a decent season, obviously his batting average is pretty terrible. He did not have a season the way he normally would. I think if they continued and had a full season with another 100 games in it, his stats would be fine. This is a guy who would be a National League MVP favorite coming into next year if his cards stay in this range or continue to drop a little bit in the offseason when everybody's looking at football and basketball coming back before baseball starts. This is a play I want you guys to start putting in your watch lists. I want you to take a look at 2013 Topps Update Christian Yelich PSA 10, and if that card starts to fall to the $150 range or something like that, which is not, it's 10% from where it is now, start picking them up, start collecting them, because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start grabbing them because, week one of the baseball season next year, they'll be back to $200 or more. So those are my three plays. Obviously, it's all baseball plays. It's all when no one's looking. A couple of them are MVP candidates for the National League. Also, let me know if you got in on my Abreu play last week, because that guy just doesn't stop hitting home runs. I mean, since we made that play, he's probably not going to catch Luka Voigt for the home run lead. But he's batting like 360, leads the league in RBIs. He's got the most hits. He's up in the top of the batting average. He's a potential Triple Crown contender if Voigt didn't have such a lead on him in the home run category. But that guy should win the AL MVP. And, we gave you a play on that. That was, a real cheap way to play a potential MVP winner there. So love to hear from you guys if you got in on that. There you go, Andrew. Little
solo episode there, huh?
No, well, now it's your turn.
When Cage goes in on the mic, man, he gets 3 minutes on the radio station. He'll go for 10. He just drops bars. Do you even, Luka Nation, do you even want me to drop bars here?
What you could do, you could edit it all out. When it's all said and done, man, you can leave all that stuff on the cutting floor. You're in charge. It's Lucas Tigers and Browns, man.
How much
but
do
you're
I
a
edit,
wizard.
Cage, how much do I edit out?
You'll probably just edit that out right there. No, how much do you edit out? Not much. Thank goodness, because listen, when I start going,
we're real.
Let him go.
We bring
you
on a roll. What you see is what you get with us. Like we give you the behind the scenes. So I mean, I could go in. I have two plays. One's a high level play. One's a low level play. Which one you want me to start with?
Why don't you work your way up like a crescendo? Why don't you do low level play and then follow it with a high level play?
Amazing. There's this guy that just transferred over to Manchester United. You know Manchester United?
Yes, not the same as Manchester City, but Manchester United.
Not the same.
So Manchester United, great team, and they're publicly traded. Did you know that? Their stock is actually publicly traded, MANU, stock ticker.
I did not know that. I'm going to have to double check that. But they're one of the biggest teams in the world, point being. And they have a lot of lineage and history, and they've been a little bit down and out the last few years. Now, this play is a guy that just transferred there that I think has a lot of potential, and his cards are super cheap. So I don't know about you. I kind of like with soccer players letting Luka Nation make their own choice of which card to buy. But I like the Bruno Fernandes Optic card. I think it's a cool card, an Optic Hollow. You can get it for $30-$40. You could go the Bruno Fernandes Topps Chrome card too. I would monitor his market. I think he has a lot of potential. He's a good player. He's not very young, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because I think a lot of people invest in soccer cards, like with Mbappe. Sure, he's not the best player in the world right now, but he has potential to be. And I think because he's young, people like that. Bruno Fernandes is 26. He's a little bit older. But I think if Man United have any semblance of success this year, and I think they have a real potential to do so, they have a good team, a good tradition, a good coach. They have a good roster. I don't think they're going to be able to compete with Liverpool and Man City in that league, but I do think they're going to be able to come in fourth, fifth, or third even maybe. I think he's going to have a lot of success. He has 3 goals in 5 games. He will be more than likely near the top of the scoring board. And his cards are dirt cheap, and he is a little bit under the radar. So Bruno Fernandes is that soccer player. Cool.
So let me ask you a couple things, right? So obviously that's a low level pick, low entry level. So is it Fernandez with a Z, Fernandez with an S? How do you spell his
Bruno,
name?
Bruno, Fernandez, Fernandes.
D-E-S. Okay, so it's Fernandez with an S at the end. And you're telling what year optic?
Let me check. 2017-18.
Okay. 2017-18 optic.
He's played in 14 Premier League matches so far. He has 8 goals and 7 assists.
Wow. All right, so he's scoring, and he's involved when other people are scoring. I like it.
Yeah, the issue is Man United haven't been very good, and that's in international play, which is like Europa League or Champions League, or domestically. So that kind of, when you're not doing well, oftentimes like people kind of are under the radar. So if Man U is able to crack in the Champions League, if they're able to finish near the top 3 or 4, I do believe that his cards will appreciate. I think he's a stud.
Nice. All right, that's easy enough. What else do we got? What's the high level play?
I would buy some Mahomes RPAs.
Wow, that is a high level play.
Guy's the beast, man. He's so young. He has everything in front of him, and I just don't see. I know there's a lot of risk with football. There's no question about that. But at the end of the day, what's really good about coaches that have some semblance of experience is they understand that protecting their quarterback's number one. That's why Brady's playing this long, because Belichick understood how important the offensive line was, how important it is to protect your quarterback. And the quarterback also understands how important it is to get the ball out of his hands quickly, right? So I think, yes, there's injuries that happen in football, and those will never go away. But I think a good quarterback, a smart quarterback, is able to play around that. And I think Mahomes is going to be the Michael Jordan comparison of football. I think he's flashy. He's exciting. He's a stud, man. He's a stud. And I think he's someone that's going to finish with 5-6 Super Bowls, in my opinion. And I think his cards are a little slept on right now. Like, for example, I keep seeing his optic hollow and optic PSA 10s. They're actually dropping in price. And to me, I question what is not to like about this guy. How can there be less demand for his cards? And sometimes that happens, right? You always want the shiny new thing. So people are going after Kyler Murray. But to me, if you're not even able to buy an RPA, the Kyler Murray Prism PSA 10 is as much as a Mahomes optic base PSA 10. And that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So across the board, whether that's the Prism, the optic, or RPA, I think Mahomes cards are severely underpriced. Okay,
I love it. So I have a hard time rooting for Mahomes only because I'm a Raider fan, obviously. So he's the biggest impediment to us having any real success, us being the Raiders. But yeah, I watch him play, and it's amazing what he does out there. And I've been watching football for decades, right? And I've seen Brett Favre, I've seen Elway, I've seen Montana, I've seen Brady, and this is real high praise. I think Mahomes is a combination of all those guys. He's got the arm strength. He's got the ability to move when he has to. He's got the ability to create when he has to, like Favre does. But he's got the ability to stay in the pocket. He can make any throw. He can scramble when he needs to. He's got the football IQ that a quarterback needs. He's not a one-trick pony. So yeah, I mean, I never really bought into Mahomes just because I thought, wow, you can't have this much hype for a young guy like this. But look what he's done. I mean, in his first 2 years, winning the MVP and then winning a Super Bowl, I don't know what you do for an encore on that. Does he win the MVP and the Super Bowl this year? I mean, I don't know how you beat it. But, yeah, I mean, as far as, young quarterbacks in the NFL, even though he's pretty high priced, he's about as safe as you get, I would think. I mean, he's talked about already, card equivalent to LeBron, right? Because he's already won, he's already done everything, and he's so young. So yeah, I can't think of a single negative thing to say about putting your money in Mahomes cards. Thank you for spending some time with us on another episode of the Luka's, Tigers, and Bronze Oh My podcast. Do us a favor and like, subscribe. You know what? Don't just like and subscribe. Everybody does that. If you like us, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your enemies, tell everybody. And we hope you got something from spending some time with us today, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.